Hi guys. All right, today we are going to go through a few notes together. We'll do a couple things together, and at times I'll have you pause the video, try a couple things on your own, and then come back to the video. Okay, so let's get started. Ignore the date. This was from yesterday, so of course today is Wednesday, February 1st. All right, so let's use this chart below here, so this chart right here, to help us answer a couple of these questions. So which lakeshore is farther from sea level, not sea level, I added an extra L in there. So which lake's shore is farther from sea level, Lake Assal or Lake Erie? All right, so when I look here at Lake Assal, their seashore is minus or negative 156, and Lake Erie is negative 12 meters. All right, so when we're thinking about which one is farther away, the one with the larger number is the one that's going to be farther away from sea level. Okay, so this one's going to be Lake Assal. All right, now sea level, let's just review this really quick in case you weren't aware. Sea level is 0. Sea level is the ground. It's the ground that we walk on every day. If we go here, if we go below sea level, it means that we're going negative. We're going into the sea, into the water. So this would be the blue water, anything negative, anything below 0. When we talk about sea level, anything above sea level is going upwards. So it could be that you're maybe starting to just at a town that's at a higher elevation, somewhere in Colorado and Utah. You're climbing mountains, you're going higher and higher, and your above sea level could even be going up into the sky, right? For most of these questions, we're going to be talking about the lower points, the things that are below ground. So big craters in the ground, deep trenches and seas, things like that. Okay? All right, so question number 2. Which is further from sea level, the bottom of Death Valley or the bottom of Bentley Trench? So let's look at Death Valley. So here's Death Valley is negative 86 meters, or the bottom of Bentley Trench. All right, so this is a trench that's deep in the water. All right, and so it's a big gaping hole that's at the bottom of the water. So we can see here, this number, negative 2,538, is going to be way below negative 86. So if we had negative 86 and negative 2,538, that 2,538 or the negative 86, the 2,588 is a lot farther from 0. So that's the one that is farthest from 0. So Bentley Trench. All right, and then which 2 continents have the lowest points of land in the world? All right, so these are all of our continents right here, and we're looking for which ones are the lowest points. All right, so we already identified, and if we take a look at all of these, here. So we've got all these numbers. I'm just going to highlight these so you can see them really well. The ones that are the biggest numbers, the farthest away from 0, well, we definitely have this guy, Bentley's Trench, right? He's the farthest away from 0. So let's find the next biggest number. All right, and to me it looks like right here, the Dead Sea Shore, negative 409. That is the next biggest absolute value. So those are our 2 lowest, and we're going with the continents. It wants to know which continents have the lowest levels, points of land. So that's Antarctica and Asia have the lowest points of land. All right, great job. So let's go on down here. And we're going to try a few of these. We are just identifying a positive and a negative for all these real world situations. So here's what we're going to do in this one is we're going to circle or highlight any of our keywords. So we have a depth of 250 feet below sea level. So we have a number, 252. We have to decide if something is below sea level, is it going to be a negative or a positive? Well, just like what we said up here, if sea level is the 0, then anything below it is a negative. So below sea level is a negative 252. All right, and then we have something that is above sea level. So if it's above sea level, it's a positive number. So we're just going to leave it as 50.9. All right, and then you have a temperature of 6 degrees below 0. So that's going to tell us it's negative. And a temperature of 70.5 degrees above sea level. All right, I want you to pause the video here and give these remaining 4 a try on your own, and then come back and see if you got the correct answer. Okay, so you should have paused. Hopefully you filled these 4 out. Let's check them. So if you lose 10 yards in a football game, that's minus 10. If you gain 5.5 yards, then that's a positive 5.5. If you deposit, so we have these 2 words for a bank account. You can deposit or you could withdraw. If you're depositing, it means that you're putting money in the bank. So it's plus $1,000. But if you're withdrawing, you withdraw, then that means that you are taking something away. So you are subtracting $100 with a withdraw. All right, let's determine the absolute value of each of these distances and then tell which distance is farther from sea level, and then explain your reasoning. So a fish swimming at -3 meters or a mosquito flying at 7 meters. So we're going to determine the absolute value for each of these. Okay, so let's take a look at our first absolute value. So we're going to put this -3 inside some absolute value bars. So the absolute value of -3 is 3. Now let's take this one, 7 meters, and put 7 inside of absolute value bars. The absolute value of 7 is 7. So which number is bigger, 3 or 7? Well, 7 is clearly the bigger number. So if we're saying tell which distance is farther from sea level, so the mosquitoes flying are the larger from sea level. So you could even just circle that. All right. A submarine is at -3